Hi, I am your host, Henry Clavo, CEO and founder of Orlando Insight Group. Each episode, we dive into real conversations with technology leaders, innovators, and experts who are shaping the future of IT and data and cybersecurity. Our goal is simple to give you practical insights and real world strategies and expert perspectives that you can use to drive smarter decisions and stronger results for your business. Thank you for joining us. And I would like to introduce our guest, Terezija Semenski, a mathematician, software engineer, and entrepreneur who's helping over 250,000 learners worldwide master AI fundamentals faster. Teresa is also the founder of Stack Labs, where she helps organizations and individuals build and scale artificial intelligence solutions through um, advisory programs. She's also a LinkedIn learning instructor and technical author with 15 courses on topics such as machine learning, deep learning, and software development, from PyTorch and NumPy to AI foundations in Java and Spring Boot. Before founding Stack Labs, Tracia led software engineering teams at SRCE, Photomath, which is Google company, and a Unicred Services. With a background in mathematics from the University of Zagreb and machine learning studies at Stanford University, she bridges the gap between theory and real world application. Her mission is to democratize AI education and make complex topics approachable for everyone, whether you're an engineer, student, or business leader trying to understand the power of AI. So, yeah, thank you, Teresia. Welcome.
Thanks, Orlando and Henry, and thanks for such a nice introduction.
You're welcome. And let's get started. You transitioned from software engineer and teacher to one of the most followed AI instructors online. What sparked that shift from coding to educating?
Well, I believe that once you're a teacher, you're always a teacher. I started my career as a teacher, so I'm throughout my career, I always helped other people learn, and they also helped me.
Mm,
And I think I couldn't even imagine that I will reach so big audience when I was starting my career way back, more than 2 decades ago. And I'm convinced that I can make a larger impact by helping others learn AI than I can do just by writing code and being a machine learning engineer or software developer. So that's my passion. I really love helping people,
mm.
and it's not everything is not all about the money. And yeah, I've seen so many transformational stories and people that reached out to me via DMs and via comments,
Mm.
and it really sparks so much passion and joy to help others.
Well, it's a little bit about the money. I'm joking.
Mhm.
So yeah, from experience, before I engage in LinkedIn, I would get messages from students asking for career advice and trying to give them guidance and have meetings with them. Well, what does a career path look like? Now that has changed now with AI in different industries, and it's crazy. So how keeping up with that is very challenging and also rewarding at the same time. So you worked in banking, finance, and education before funding your own company. How did those experiences shape your understanding of how people learn technical subjects?
Yeah, across working in IT, finance, and education, I discovered the real challenge isn't about teaching technology.
Mm,
It's teaching people how to think with technology.
mm,
Yeah, and whether it's a financial model or a neural network, the real magic happens when learners move from memorizing formulas,
mm,
theorems, code syntax, design patterns, and when they go from there to understanding systems. And in IT, I learned the value of systems thinking, how small components connect into something larger,
mm,
and that's exactly how I teach AI as interconnected systems of data, models, and feedback loops together with math combined. And when I was working in education, I learned that people don't truly learn from lectures. They learn from doing, failing safely, and reflecting. And the whole educational system is broken long time ago. And I was part of the system. So I
You,
really feel
you
the
could say that
pain.
again.
Yeah, I feel the pain from both perspective. Yeah, from the
Yeah.
perspective of the learners,
Mm,
because I was the part of the system, and from my perspective, because I was a teacher. And we're so focused on finding mistakes
mm.
and, yeah, pointing on those mistakes, and people are so overwhelmed and stressed, like
Oh, yeah.
scared of making a mistake. And there's the whole learning curve. And when somebody wants to go into coding, is exact opposite. Like, we
Yeah.
should embrace learning from mistakes, not like be scared, like, oh, I'm just writing code, I'm scared if I'm going to make, how many bugs I'm going to create,
Yeah.
is the production going to fail because of me, or I'm going to crash everything. And yeah, I think that that's why I'm trying to build my courses around small experiments, like
Mhm,
training a really tiny neural network in PyTorch and seeing how it learns in real time.
mhm,
And when you combine that with abstract math that they have learned before, or they have learned throughout my courses, and when they combine these two, and in suddenly it flips, they connect the dots. And it's I like to think about, my mission is like to help people stop thinking about AI like a black box, like I'm
mhm,
just interacting with ChatGPT, or I'm just playing with AI agents,
mm.
and more like a playground.
Yeah.
Really is a playground, and it's really fun and engaging. And yeah, but it takes time.
Yeah.
Everything new, what you need to learn and what you want to learn, it takes time. Especially if you want to dive under the surface and really understand it. Yeah.
I like the way you connected like students' experience of learning in university versus you working on a model and training it. Yeah, the mistakes does make a difference because you are able to course correct and able to make improvements later on without without that feedback.
Hmm.
So it makes sense. And also, yeah, university is we're trained to be successful, perfect, but that's not reality most of the time. You see the success, but you at the background you see a lot of mistakes, errors, and improvements along the way that led you there. So I really like that touch.
Thanks.
What moment made you realize that AI education needed change? That it just wasn't just for data scientists anymore.
Hmm. The moment that I really recognized it needed to change when was way back, like almost 10 years ago, when I was working at Photomap Google, when I
Mm,
saw very brilliant software developers who wanted to transition into role of machine learning engineers, and who really struggled with the lack of mathematical background. I
mm,
mean, linear algebra, calculus, probability, statistics.
yeah.
And they just downloaded this, or they bought these really huge books, like. And it was really painful for them, because they
Yeah.
didn't have the background. And I saw that there I saw the need to have those types of courses, and those the- and I saw the need that you have to bridge that gap
Mm,
between, like, these mathematical concepts, and, like, they knew how to write code, but they didn't understand what was going on. And yeah.
yeah. As a former college student, I had to learn linear algebra, do row operations, the Graham-Schmidt method, and but there's a disconnect between practicality when I started in the workforce. So, how can this be applied in the real world? So it's the opposite of what I experienced, but it does make sense. You can design the best code, you can design the best architecture, but without the understanding of it, what are you really creating? And now with
Mhm.
AI, you just have another tool, but with no background of how that is working and able to provide a you know the solution that
Mhm.
you're you know the pros and cons of it. So that makes sense. I understand that pretty much. How do you explain complex concepts like deep learning or linear algebra to someone completely new to AI? Oh, please, I would love to learn.
Yeah, that's a really nice question. Yeah, from everything from deep learning to linear algebra, I try to use visuals and metaphors. For example, a neural network, you can think about it as a stack of pattern detectors. Like
Mm,
first layer, you detect edges, then you detect shapes and colors, etc. And you can really visualize it before diving into code. For linear algebra,
mm,
you can connect it to movement and transformation. Like vector has its direction and length.
mm,
Length, for example. Okay, I need to walk like five steps north or south, and then 4 steps east to get to that from that point to that point, and you have a
mm,
vector from this point to this point.
mm,
A matrix, you can think about it as something that transforms space from stretching, rotating, and projecting it. When you have like matrix multiplication, that
mm.
is, it's at the end it's simple, but at the beginning, why do we need this?
Yeah.
You combine transformations, rotating, and then scaling an image. If you
Mm.
want to, if you want to build if you want to detect images,
Mm.
and then you need to rotate image and the scale image and transform it before putting it into model. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was taking a tutorial on uh, and OCR and how to transform that data to be loaded into a model because you're taking text data
Mhm.
and then you have to transform it. Is it correct to say that taking text data and then you put it in an embedded model, it's basically creating zeros and ones or numeric numbers so it could be representative for the machine?
Yeah, yeah. Everything in machine learning is either in form of matrix or vector, and you just put the numbers, and you then do the linear transformations over it over and over again. In short, like if you want, even if you need to dive deeper, then we go into calculus, gradient descent, and then we go into
Oh,
derivatives and partial derivatives. But I won't go down the rabbit hole
of
because it
course,
would
of
take me
course.
much longer than this these
Yeah,
few minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've taught over 200,000 learners across 15 LinkedIn learning courses. What's the biggest mindset barrier people face when learning AI? I know you touched upon this, upon not having the background, but I'm sure teaching background, I'm sure you work with people who had struggles, many different ones. Uh, Maybe you could expand more on that.
Yeah, I just checked like few days ago. It's like over 300,000 learners right now, but nevertheless, I think, as I mentioned, like one of the biggest barriers is overcoming math anxiety.
Mm,
It's really even for developers. Some research, like from University of Cambridge, suggests that even like 20, more than 20% of people have math anxiety. But from my real life experience, I would say it's like maybe even double that
mm,
number. And it really has a huge impact on people's lives. Like if
yeah.
you learn math early on, and especially it's especially high. It's different from girls to boys.
Mm.
I'm not expert in gender
No,
uh,
no, no worries. But
differences, but from my perspective and from the what research tells us,
mhm,
for girls it's much higher. I think it's due to all the other circumstances in our lives, but from early on, I know from my perspective, and I know from perspective of other girls, like when you're interested in math and coding, then you really that strange girl, like, oh, look at her, she likes
yeah.
to solve equations, because we were taught early on we should focus on our looks, we should focus on our um, connections, we should focus on our languages, we should go into different direction than boys. And
Mhm.
I don't think it's I don't think it's a good approach, and I really hate seeing on. So I'm really passionate about kids because I have a daughter myself,
Mhm.
and when I see those when I see the impact of social media, especially on the girls, and
Yeah.
it's devastating. It's really devastating because we can have so many brilliant women working in the
Mm.
space, and
Yeah.
they are like distracted early on to go into path or promoting only her looks and that sort of things instead
Mhm.
of going into learning. But nevertheless, now I'm I got out of the path of your question. So I think that math anxiety that is really high for also for
Mm.
girls especially and also for boys. But it's also the struggle right now. What I've seen from junior developers, they really struggle with they don't know how to learn, and
Mm.
the impact of the social media also on
Right.
them is really huge because the concentration there like they're just distracted with so many things. We
Mm.
didn't have that back on. Like I'm now 41 years old. I really had to dive into and find the literature to be able to learn. Like
Mm.
I was lucky, maybe I was also maybe a lucky one because like 10 years before me,
Mm.
people didn't have YouTube. I know that I was so happy when I was at the college and I didn't understand some of the coding concepts and some of
Mm.
the details like for C++, etc. I was bothered with that, and also I wanted to learn. Okay, I also want to learn Java, and I didn't have a nice course on that on my university, so I was like searching throughout the YouTube, and I found this Stanford professor who was explaining Java in so simple ways. It was
Yeah.
like having this like equipment for
Yeah.
baking, and he was explaining it on so simple level and so approachable that I could it just I just go throughout all these lessons in just 2 3 days,
Mm.
and it would take me probably if I would just download the books or buy the books, I would need like 2 3 months, no, not 2 3 days. Of
Right.
course, I didn't become like I didn't become really Java expert in those 2 3 days, but
Mm.
it gave me enough knowledge to be able to understand the syntax, to be
Mm.
able to apply the knowledge that I knew from other languages that I can just okay combine with these and to be able to write code.
Yeah.
And right now we have so many information, we have everything available just
Mm.
like on a flip of our hand. If somebody
Yeah.
doesn't like my course, he can find something on YouTube, he can find something from Coursera or from some other platform. But it's also so distractive. It's really
Mm.
distractive because those people are many people are just uh, searching for a better tutorial, like
Mm.
it's called like tutorial hell. They're just
Yeah.
okay. I need more education, and they're like, okay, I just took this LinkedIn course, but now I
Yeah.
need Coursera course.
Mhm.
Now I need this other and this other, and I have to pay the boot camp. And
Yeah.
instead of like taking one course and just say, okay, now I have to get my hands dirty. Now I have to write code and struggle and feel the pain and learn from that pain. They
Mm.
are now they are now like yeah, they're just distracted and just going throughout all these things. Yeah.
Yeah. From personal experience and from what I've seen, I think they're delaying the uncomfortable truth that they have to struggle
Hmm.
with, social media. You get free dopamine hits, so it
Hmm.
makes sense that they don't want to face the hardships of failure or being delayed or deadlines. So it does make sense. And then and going back to social media, like TikTok is influencing others to take on not only learning but become more involved in creating content that is not well informed for the people. So it creates a loop of so
Hmm.
many content. Is it true? Is it false? So it's very difficult, and especially for you course creators, you have to sell or provide the reason why they should take your course. It's so many challenges in the modern world.
Yeah.
Your math mindset newsletter focuses on simplifying difficult topics. What's your approach to balancing mathematical rigor with accessibility?
Like when I teach AI or when I teach deep learning, I try to make sure that people understand what's going on before diving into formulas.
Mm,
And for example, before we even look at the equation of gradient descent,
mhm,
I'll show them what it feels like. Like you have a little ball and you roll it down the hill and try to find the lowest point.
mhm.
And once that intuition clicks, then I get into the math and the formulas and connecting it with machine learning and deep learning. And I think it's crucial for people to be able. I think like most of us are visual. Some people learn different from from others, but I think
Mhm.
most of us are visual learners. If we can like visualize something on really simple example, real life example, then we can easily learn that concept and connect the dots. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
And
that.
for yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, like for example, if I want to explain somebody uh, the- something in deep learning, or if I want to make a new course on deep learning,
Mm,
I can start with small experiments in PyTorch and visual demos and
mm,
demonstrate that and go step by step to be able to make sure people understand each tiny bit of that. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. We would love for you to come back and give us a demo or a demonstration of deep learning PyTorch for the business and data community. We would love to
It would
share
be
that
great.
learning.
Yeah.
That would be great, actually.
Yeah.
Tell us about Stack Labs and what inspired you to create it.
Yeah, the true inspiration was helping individuals and companies learn AI tools and use AI and learn when to use AI, when not to learn, not to use AI.
Yeah.
And as I shared, like a few days ago, I shared the MIT published a report on state of AI in business in September. Around the middle of September, so it's like only 2 months old,
Mhm.
and it shows that only 5% of enterprises have AI tools integrated in workflows at scale.
Mm,
And they looked over 9 sectors, and 7 sectors show no real structural change. And organizations of all levels, from small companies to enterprise, really struggle with finding the real use case where they can use Gen
mm,
AI, and not only Gen AI, where they can use. I know you are covering that area where they can use MCP and AI agents, etc. And the adoption rates are really high, but disruption still remains low.
mm,
And I think, yeah, it's really hard, like if you have a company and the CEO and the management doesn't understand
mm,
the impact of AI, and it just wants to jump on the next train because of the
mm,
AI hype, and they're just burning money, they're burning cash, and like they don't see the real impact. So um, from my perspective, from these workshops that I hold on different level different size of companies, I think they're really useful, because when people understand what's happening in the background, when they
mm.
see the benefits and limitations and the risks of AI if you implement it, then that they can really start collaborating and start like making those tools work for them.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy because we have so many developers currently working on a project, and I see so many ideas of how to integrate it with chat systems, how to
Mhm.
integrate it, work in data pipelines. So having that exposure in workshop does really give the executives and the developers ideas of what to go through next, get clear on the goal, and align and to cut into synthesize all projects into something that is valuable for the stakeholders. So, yeah, that's really good value for the customers. So I'm glad that you're able to provide that service to them.
Thanks, Henry.
And you mentioned helping organizations scale AI literacy. What does a truly AI literate company look like to you? Or in the perfect world, what is that, and what are the challenges getting to that end goal?
Um, well, I will maybe now repeat myself a little bit because it's connected to the previous question
Ah,
you
yes,
asked me.
yes.
Yeah, because that from my perspective, an AI literate company isn't the one where everyone is a data scientist and machine learning engineer. It's where everyone understands what AI can and cannot do, and what are the limitations and risks, and where is the good usage for Gen AI, where is the good usage for ML, where I can use AI agent. And that means that the leaders can spot real AI opportunities versus the hype. And the teams understand that AI systems need data, context, iteration to work well. And not non-technical staff also feels confident asking the right questions about the models, about the biases, about the outcomes. And I think AI literacy, if you look at that way, is it's using the AI tools responsibly, yeah,
Mm,
and from automating just routine tasks to brainstorming the ideas using LLMs, and the if you look at the if I imagine like the perfect truly AI literate company, it's more like a learning organism than it's like the static organization with all this hierarchy and all these perfect teams and processes and it's something that evolves over time, and I don't have a definition for a perfect AI
mm,
literate company, and I think nobody actually has. Many people describe themselves AI as AI expert and deliver
mm,
and deliver those talks, and
mm.
yeah, and try to make themselves really present themselves like they are,
Yeah,
they know much more than they really know,
yeah,
because now they just follow the money and yeah.
yeah. You remind me a story where Starbucks hired a McKinsey consultant to be their CEO, but he never actually, you know, built that company from the ground up or been involved in an organization. He's always been involved in theory. So the value of the company went down, and then they hired someone, and it recovered because he had hands-on knowledge of what those hardships look like and be able to react to markets in the real world. So yeah, it is true. It does take someone who has been through the burner to provide that solutions to companies and be able to identify that. Yeah, we had a guest, Deborah, who works with AI investors. You have to ask those pointed questions to determine if their company is for the good, or are they just selling a story. So
Mhm.
it is very hard to detect that now with the story with JP Morgan and this
Mhm.
founder who bought a company and unable to identify if the product that she offered really delivered, and then now they're paying for it through their legal fees and hotels. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just to close, what advice do you give to someone intimidated by AI but eager to start learning?
Well, uh, the best advice: start small and be curious. Yeah. You don't really need a PhD in math or machine learning to understand AI. You need to be playful and treat it like a playground.
Mm,
You can use ChatGPT to explore ideas, and you can watch visual explainers, or you can try to build your first PyTorch model with some tutorial.
mhm,
But from my perspective, you cannot, yeah, like, people, what I've seen, especially for juniors, I'm going to repeat myself also right now, but it's really something that the message, I think I have to deliver this message. And if you want to like become fit and you go to the fitness center or you take some sports, and you
Mhm.
have to do the reps, you have to feel the pain, and then your muscles are going to grow bigger. And if you want to like learn to play the piano, you can watch it. For example, for fitness, you can watch thousands of fitness videos and tutorials about perfect nutrition, etc. But if you don't go to gym, if you don't put the reps, you will stay the same probably. Maybe you lose few pounds if you like craft your nutrition. And the same goes like if you want to play the piano and you watch all these nice YouTube tutorials, and and you're listening to classical music, but if you don't open the piano and put your hands on the keyboard and start playing, you won't actually learn almost anything.
Mm.
And the same goes with like if you use AI to learn something, and also if you want to dive into that area, you cannot just like use LLMs and get the output and copy paste it and expect to learn something, because we humans aren't wired to learn that way. We are wired to learn by trying, by
Mm.
experimenting, by hitting our head. Like when,
Mm.
when you try to ride a bike and you fell on your head and you
Yeah.
got a really painful bump, and the next time you're really watching, oh, where is that tree? I won't fall from the
Mm.
bike. And the same goes like this. You really need to feel the pain and to put on the reps, and nobody's going to do it instead of you. Like you can find the perfect teacher, you can find I don't know, Andre Carpati or somebody that is better than me, and you can watch all his tutorials. They're like, oh, it's such a great explanation. I really not understand it, and you got this light
Yeah.
bulb coming out of your hand. But if you don't write code yourself, if you don't struggle, if you don't fix, if you don't debug, if you don't feel the pain, you won't succeed in anything in life. And that the same goes in coding, in machine learning, in
Mm.
every other area in your life. And yeah.
Yeah, it is true. If you give a human a tool, they're going to use it. They're going to be lazy about it. So it
Yeah.
makes it goes. Yeah, it goes back to the theme of our talk. You got to learn how to learn, basically. So it makes
Hmm.
sense. So Teresa, what's next for you? Any new exciting projects you want to talk about, or any books, courses coming up for you?
Yeah, I'm working on my book. It's a long and painful process. It's not written by ChatGPT, so it's a process. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm writing a machine learning book, and
mm,
hopefully it will be out next year. With all the pains and struggles, it all the baby diseases that it has to go through,
mm.
and
Oh yeah,
becomes now it's becoming a teenager, and hopefully it will become adult by the next year, and I will I will publish it. Yeah, yeah, and I'm also working as a developer advocate for a few smaller startups,
yeah,
creating content and helping them and writing the documentation part and the technical documentation, and yeah, collaborating with them. I love to work with small teams. I also love to work with larger teams, but I think that impact is maybe more visible when you work with a smaller team.
yeah.
And yeah,
Do you have a title of the book so people can pre-order or look for out for next year?
right now, no. Until the
Oh,
next time, if we have another episode of your podcast, I will probably have it. I have brainstormed so much. I have also used ChatGPT is really good at brainstorming ideas. For example,
mhm,
title of the book is the perfect example.
mm.
Not for generating the text that is going to be in the book,
Quickly.
but mathematical books are not the type of the books that it writes either way. It can write you a perfect, maybe perfect science fiction book, but not a perfect book that covers math or coding. But I have brainstormed many ideas, and I still don't have a perfect title, but I think the title is, it will probably be irrelevant at the end. Yeah,
Well,
we
it
sometimes need a hook that for presenting,
yeah,
but I think at the end of the day, is it going to be like this title A, B, C? I would probably ask the learners. I was thinking a lot about it, and
yeah,
when the book will be in the stage of pre-ordering, before the pre-ordering, I will probably make a poll on LinkedIn and ask the learners which title do you want, which do you like more, or and which book cover do you like more. I think it's a good concept to get traction for the book, and also to get them interested, and they can also participate in something that is so trivial at the end, like the book
well,
title. But it can be trivial, it can, yeah, but it also, yeah, I don't know, I'm not good in marketing and these sorts of things, but I will ask the people, let the people vote.
no, well, from I have a background in in college doing writing and literature. So yeah, the title's important, but you also have to differentiate yourself from, it's a machine learning book, but what's so different about this one compared to other
Mhm.
books in the market? So yeah, it makes sense. But we will love to have you on next year and talk about the book, specifically topics related to machine learning, and maybe you can do a demo for us next year. That'll be exciting for our listeners.
Yeah, I would love that, thanks.
Now, how can people connect with you or follow your work online, Teresa? Do you have anything that the community can reach out to?
Yeah, they can connect. They can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if I would able to accept all the connection requests because right now I'm overwhelmed with those, and I cannot follow up to every single them. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I'm only one person, and I'm not using AI tools to. If I write an answer to somebody's question, I'm really trying to beat my words if I want to help someone.
Hmm.
But they can follow my work on LinkedIn. I'm sharing posts on daily basis. They can also look up for my. I have a newsletter called MAF Mindset that
Yeah.
they can look on Substack, and they can learn something from that, and they can also take some of my courses, and yeah, and take buy the upcoming book when it will be available.
We're excited for that book, and we're also excited for what's to come for you next year. So, thank you, Teresa, for being a guest on the Orlando Inside podcast. We learned a lot, so we appreciate you appearing today.
Thank you, Henry, and thanks also for inviting me. And yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.
Uh, All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you're interested in more for content that we produce, such as our talk with Teresias or any talks that we had in the past, you can look us up on YouTube at Orlando Insight Group, and also we can also be found on Instagram and Spotify. We wish you a good night, and thank you for joining us. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.